Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome. We'll get started. I can see that there's still a few people missing, but I do like to start on time. So hopefully they'll join us soon. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Sally, and we'll get started today in child's pose. And as you come into child's pose, you can choose what your body desires, and you can have your knees together as wide as your mat or anywhere in between. And then just take a few moments to just feel your body just surrender and soften into your pose. And then as you feel your body start to surrender, then start to connect with that breath in and out through your nose. And just notice how your body responds as you start to just slow your breath down. And then with that connection to the breath, slow it down. You can stay here in child's pose as long as you would like, and when you feel ready, we'll meet in tabletop. So some of you are already longing for movement and ready to get into child's pose or tabletop right away, go for it. And some of you are just starting to settle in and connect with your breath. Feel what your body desires and choose that. As you start to come into tabletop, you can flow through that cat-cow, connecting your breath with your movement. As you inhale, lift your gaze, your tailbone, and exhale, tap your chin. If a wrist stretch feels good, you can add that movement, spin your fingers towards the long edges so they point as close to your knees. And you can also take the back of your hands. And just like child's pose, stay here in your tabletop as long as you would like, just moving, flowing, connecting with your breath. And when you're ready, we'll just meet in downward dog. There's no hurry. So you might stay here longer, you might flow through a low plank and an upward dog, and you might just arrive in downward dog when you're ready. Your choice. And as you start to make your way into downward dog, and it might be already and it may not be quite yet, that's perfectly fine. You can choose movement or stillness. You might bend one knee as you press opposite heel. You might lift up onto your tippy toes and press your heels down. And breathe. We'll take about 3 more breaths, and if you're not quite in downward dog, you can make your way there. Let's take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, step or lightly hop towards the top. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up, sweep your arms up. And exhale, fold. Halfway lift, inhale, plant your hands, step or hop back high to low plank. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, step or hop to the top. Halfway lift. Fold forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, plant your hands and flow with your breath back to downward dog. High to low, up to down. Take a breath in your downward dog, and let's go through 2 more sun salutations on our own breath. And allow yourself to just move and flow at the speed that honors your body today. And you might add or take away. You might take away the vinyasa. You might add some push-ups. Whatever your body needs this morning. And we'll just flow. And eventually we'll just meet in downward dog. And notice how good it feels to just move, to just flow at the speed of our own breath and to connect with our body. And just take your time, let go of any sense of hurry. We'll take a few more breaths, and if you're not quite in downward dog, you can meet us here when you're ready. And then from our downward dog, let's inhale, lift our right leg up to the sky. And activate those inner thighs, so level up your hips and then lift your heel higher. One more breath. And exhale, right knee towards right elbow, and our whole body will shift forward. Press the earth away, lift that knee for 2. One more breath. Step your right foot forward, ground your left heel, we'll windmill up for warrior 2. And we'll just breathe. Feels like it's been so long since we were here. So feel that outer left heel and the left big toe ground into the earth. Sink your hips nice and deep. Press your feet and then pull them together so you feel those inner thighs, hamstrings, those glutes activate. If they're pressing out, your quads are doing all the work. Lengthen through your spine. Use your core. Open your chest to the left, and we'll sink just a little deeper. Soften your shoulders and soften your fingers, and even though your palms are facing down, lifting through those palms rather than not reaching through those fingers, so we start to activate the underside of our arms. We'll take a deep, full breath, sink just a little deeper. And we'll make our way to half moon, so if it feels better, you can take your left hand to your hip. Press off your left foot. Right hand comes towards the earth. If you have a prop like a block or water bottle, you can take that. Your right toe still point forward. Your left heel reaches back. And your left hand can reach up, or it can be on your hip. And then feel this connection with your breath and slowly open your hips a little further. And just feel that nice little opening through your hip as we breathe. For 3. 2. 1 more breath. If your house is like mine, it's very windy today. Soften your right knee, and then as slowly as you can, we'll arrive back into warrior 2 and sink back into that beautiful lunge. Flip your right palm. Let's just relax our left hand on our thigh for now. Reach your right hand up and back for reverse warrior. Sink your hips deeper, reach farther. Your left hand can gently rest on your thigh, or it can come to that low block. Take a breath, see if you can reach even further. Let's keep our upper body, but straighten our right leg into this reverse triangle. Stretching from our toes to our fingertips. 1 more breath. And as you inhale, right hand comes forward, lengthening, and then into triangle. So your left hand can come up. It can be on your hip. Feel this connection to the earth. Press your feet into the earth. Pull your feet together. Lengthen through your spine. Knit those ribs in those lower hip bones, and we'll breathe. If you want more core, you can extend your right hand forward. Two more breaths. One more. Activate those inner thighs, your core. We'll lift ourselves back up. Hands come to our hips. And then turn our toes towards the long edges. But have your toes in more than your heels. That will just help us get into that internal rotation and to our hamstrings. Soften your knees. Inhale, reach up, engage your core, and exhale, fold forward. And you can choose whatever you need. So if you have a comfortable headstand practice, you're welcome to take it. You might rest your hands on the earth. You might grab the backs of your calves or ankles. You might walk your hands to one leg then the other. And notice what you feel. Normally we go into a triangle series quite a bit later in the sequence. So notice how it feels a little bit earlier. So lovely. But we want to activate, so there's this little softness to our knees, and as we press our feet into the earth, lift your tailbone up to the sky. Activating those legs, engaging your core, letting that upper body get heavy. 3 more breaths. One more breath. Hands come to our hips, engage our core, and then inhale, we'll lift ourselves back up. Turn your right foot towards the front edge of your mat, step your left foot more towards the left, but shorter stance. Activate your inner thighs to spur your hips and shoulders towards the front, and then connect to those lower abdominals, pull those hip bones together. Inhale, reaches up, and exhale, we'll fold forward, and breathe. So activate, press your feet into the earth, lift your hips up. Notice if that right hip is popping out. Pull it back in line using those inner thighs and breathe. One more breath. We'll go into a twist. We'll take your time. So your left hand can be on the earth, inside or outside of your right foot, your shin, your thigh, or prop. And then let's activate our inner thighs. Pull this right hip back. Inhale, lengthen through your spine first, and then use your core, open your chest to the right. You can keep your hand on your low back, or you can reach that right hand up. But notice if your right hip is popping out, or if your upper body is curling towards the right. Lengthen and feel this opening through our chest. And use your core to lengthen. We'll take 5 breaths here, your own 5 breaths. And when you're complete, we'll gently make our way back to downward dog, however you need to get there. And just take your time, connect with your breath, notice what you feel. And whenever you are complete, plant your hands. You can step or flow into downward dog, your choice. And as you arrive into your downward dog, just notice what you feel, the different sensations. We'll just take a few breaths into downward dog. Notice the space that triangle creates. We'll take 2 more breaths here. 1 more. And then with your inhale, lift your left leg up to the sky. Activate those inner thighs, level up your hips, lift your heel higher. And with your exhale, knee to left elbow, your body shifts forward. We'll take 2 more breaths. 1 more. And gently step your left foot forward, ground your right heel, and we'll windmill up for warrior 2. So nice and deep into this lunge. Your feet can be as wide as your wrists. Ground your feet, pull them together. Connect to that deep core, pull those hip bones together, tailbone reaches down, lifting up, and then softening your shoulders as you activate your palms and breathe. And this is a pose we have this tendency to creep out. And then as we creep out, our feet press outward and we connect to those quads. We want to be in this really deep lunge and pull inward. So we start to connect with that underside of our body. And if it just feels like it's too much, shorten your stance. You can have your knee over your ankle and pull that heel back. And breathe. Slow and steady breath. Let's sink just a little deeper. 3 more breaths. One more breath. We'll press off our right foot, take our left hand to the earth, a prop, a water bottle, or a block, and we'll come into a half moon. Opening our hips, opening our chest. Our left toes will still point forward, so notice if they rotated inward, keep them forward, and then reach that right heel back. And then lengthening and opening. Keep lifting that leg, opening that hip, and we breathe. For 3, 2, 1 more breath. Soften your left knee and we'll gently arrive back into warrior 2. We'll take a deep breath, relax your right hand, flip your left palm, inhale, reach up and back, reverse warrior. And then see if you can sink a little deeper into that lunge and reach up and back. Notice if your right hip is popping back. We want to keep our hips level so that our legs stay active. Otherwise, we just pop out our hip and we can just hang out in our hips. And then we breathe. Two more breaths. Can you reach a little further and sink your hips a little deeper? One more breath. Keep your upper body straighten. Your left leg will take a reverse triangle, just stretching from our toes to our fingertips. One more breath. Activate those inner thighs, your core. Left hand reaches forward and then lower your left hand as your right hand comes upward to your low back for triangle. And then breathe. Ground your feet, pull those inner thighs together. 3 breaths here. One more breath. Activate those inner thighs, engage your core, lift yourself back up, hands to your hips. And then we'll walk our feet just a little bit closer together, turn our toes out to the corners of our mat so our toes are wider than our heels. Let's just add a little bend in our knees. Engage those lower abdominals, your tailbone reaches down. Activate those inner thighs, knees press open, and we'll sink our hips into goddess. So we want to tailbone down so that we lengthen through that low back. If it feels good, you can take goalpost arms. Knit those ribs in. If you want more sensation, you can lift one or both heels and breathe. And keep sinking deeper. Ground in, so we're activating our inner thighs, keeping our knees open, but we feel that connection to our inner thighs, our glutes. For 4, can you sink a little deeper? 3, 2, 1 more breath. Sink a little deeper. Let's come back up. Give our hips a little wiggle. Turn our left foot to the front. Step our right foot up. Feet are hip distance width apart. We'll get ready for pyramid. Inner thigh squares you forward. Connect to those lower abdominals. Hip bones forward. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold. And add a little softness to both knees. Lift your tailbone up to the sky, lengthening. Engage your core and then feel your upper body soften. Two more breaths. One more. We'll go into that twist. So your right hand can be on the earth, inside or outside of your foot, your shin, your thigh. But first, activate those inner thighs. Pull that hip up. I know we're always in a hurry to get into our pose. Let's just set it up. Lengthen through your spine and then open your chest to the left and breathe. We have this little kind of teeter-totter effect in our body. So just pull that left hip back, lengthen your spine, slow your breath out in this beautiful twist. Hopefully you start to feel this to the outlet of that left leg. And we'll take 5 more breaths. When you are complete, we'll flow with our own breath back to downward dog. If it feels better, your left hand can be at your low back. You can flow or press back to downward dog. Just connect with your body, connect with your breath. And just notice what you feel, the space, the energy, the sensations. We'll take 2 more breaths. If you're not quite downward dog, you can make your way there. 1 more breath. And as you exhale, step or lightly hop towards the top. Halfway lift. Fold forward. Inhale, rise up, reach up, and then let's release our hands and just give our shoulders a shake, our legs a little shake. And we'll set up for eagle today. So let's ground our knees, ground our feet, soften our knees, and then soften them until we can connect to this neutral pelvis. So our hip bones pull together, engage our core, and then straighten through that legs with that neutral pelvis. Let's sweep our arms forward. Right elbow crosses under left, and then you can bend your elbows and work towards palms together. So let's stack up so you can see my arms. If that doesn't feel good, cross your forearms and take the back of your hands together and honor whatever you need. Let's lift our elbows to the head of our shoulders, sink our hips, and then our left knee lifts up and crosses over our right. Squeeze those inner thighs together, press your left foot into your right leg. It can be a little kickstand. You can press it into the side of your calf, or you can wrap it all the way around and breathe. So let's take 4 more breaths, our own 4 breaths. See if you can sink your hips deeper, lift your elbows higher with every breath. And when you're complete, we'll release. Once you release, you can shake out your shoulders, shake out your legs, ground your feet. And then we'll sweep our arms forward, left elbow under or forearm. Sink into your hips or into your chair pose. Shift the weight to that left, but lift your right knee up and over into full eagle. And breathe. And notice what you feel on this side. It might feel very different. It might feel very similar. Slow and steady breath. We'll take 5 breaths here on this side. Whenever you are complete, we'll release. Take your time, stay with your breath. There's no hurry. And then when you're complete, shake up your shoulders, your hips, your legs. And when inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, plant your hands, and we'll flow back to downward dog. And then just take a moment in your downward dog. And let's inhale, shift forward into a high plank. Take our feet together at the back of our mat. Press our palms into the earth. Spin our heels to the right. Left hand comes up, side plank. Just a little fun with planks here. Lifting through your hips, but you are welcome to take your right elbow or your knee to the earth. And we'll breathe. For 3, keep lifting those hips. 2, 1 more breath. Exhale back to a high plank. Take a breath, and then we'll spin our heels to the left. Right hand comes up, side plank. Press the earth away. For 3, 2, 1 more breath. And exhale back to a high plank, and then we'll just hold for 3, 2, 1 more, and then you can flow or press back to downward dog. If you want to, out of vinyasa, high to low, up to down, some push-ups you are welcome to. Otherwise, we'll make our way into child's pose, and we'll start to set up for our yin practice. So we just want to take a moment to create this new intention where we feel the sense of softening, surrendering. We start to slow our breath down. If you're not quite ready, take your time. There's no hurry. We'll just pause in our child's pose for a few breaths. And we were in this practice of activating, engaging, and now we're into this practice where we're softening, letting go of tension and holding, and allowing ourselves to create space through our connective tissues and our joints by just softening into the sensation. And so when you're ready, the first pose we set up for will either be from downward dog or tabletop, so whatever you prefer. And you can choose whatever leg you want to start with, and we'll set up for a half pigeon, or you could set up for a deer pose. So we'll bring one knee forward, and we'll get into this hip stretch. So there's a couple different options. If there's any sensation in your knee, then you would open both of your knees up to a 90-degree angle and have your hip on the floor. You could have that hip on the floor and just walk that back leg back as much as it felt available, and having that hip on the floor releases that pressure. Or if it feels better, you can place a prop under that hip. And let's just get into this juicy little. And so soften and surrender. You might start higher up on your hands with this little bit of an opening through the front of our body, creating space to that hip flexor. You might feel comfortable on your forearms. You might rest your hands or your elbows on a prop, on a pillow. You might rest your head. You might create a little pillow with your arms. And then just breathe. And so we do work towards this place of stillness, but if you start to feel, especially this pose, if your foot falls asleep, you want to support that hip. You might need to adjust if your foot falls asleep. If you've created space and you need to get a little deeper, you should. Excuse me. And then just scan your body. Notice if there's any areas you feel yourself holding onto tension. And if you do, just observe it, honor it, see if you can let it go and just surrender a little deeper. And then just soften and surrender a little deeper with every breath you take. And then we'll take about 5 more breaths here. Whenever you feel complete with your breath, we'll come out and you can pick whatever you want. We'll first settle into stillness, so you might go right into a child's pose, a downward dog. You might come into a seated posture. Take your time, connect with your breath, and then once you release, find that posture of comfort for about 2 breaths and just sit with the sensations you've created. And then from there, add whatever movement you need. So you might winch up your knees. You might shake out your legs. If you're in downward dog, you can walk it out. And now we know where we're going. And you can arrive at the second side however you want. So if you went to a seat and you want to arrive from there, you can go back to downward dog or tabletop. Take your time, set the second side up for success. Finding that place where there's no pressure through your knee, your foot remains awake. And just breathe. And just soften and surrender. And then notice the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the sensations that arise on the side. And then allow yourself to soften and surrender into what is. And then can you reconnect with that beautiful breath? In and out, deep and full. And just feel the sense of softening and surrendering into what is. Connecting again with that slower, deeper breath in and out through your nose. And we'll take 5 more breaths here. When your breath is complete, then gently release, find that posture of comfort for your body. And it can be anything. You can be seated, supine, downward dog. Take a breath or 2 in stillness. And then add whatever movement you need. Oh, excuse me. Good thing I'm in my own personal space today. And so just take whatever movement you need. The next pose we set up for will be seated. So you can come to a seat when you are ready. And we'll set up for a seated tree pose. And so you can start with whatever leg you want. Kind of go the opposite of what you did for the hip stretch. And so we'll bend one knee, straighten one leg, and then that leg that's straight, let's just pull it back so our hips are level. And then relax those toes. So we have this tendency to activate, especially in our young, but we're going to soften today. But you can choose and you can change the positions. You might want to get more into a side body stretch. So if that's the case, open your chest towards the open knee. The other hand can slide up and you can go into a side body, or you can square over your front leg and take a forward fold. And you can switch it halfway through at any time. If you have a prop, you might rest your elbow on your prop on your leg and then use your hand to support your head. And then find that place where you feel that nice stretch. We're creating space, either through that side body and that side stretch or through that low back and that leg. And then breathe into what you feel. So let go of any sense of hurry, to just get right into it and just use your breath. And with every breath you take, feel your body soften and surrender a little deeper. If you're in that forward fold and you want a deeper neck stretch, it might feel nice to even interlace your hands and allow the weight of your hands to let your head get heavier. You might need to support it. But relax your straight leg toes so that leg is relaxed rather than active. And just soften, surrender, and just notice the sensations you feel. And then just reconnect with that breath again. Notice how quickly you let it go. Just come back, letting go of any judgment and just breathe. And then with that beautiful breath, let's take about 5 more breaths. When your breath is complete, we'll come out. Before you come out, reconnect with your core and allow the strength of your core to move you out. We've been stretching through this low back, so we want to honor it. If you need to add a little additional support for your body, you can use your hands and your core to lift you out. And then take whatever position honors your body. And take about those 2 or 3 breaths in stillness. And then add whatever movement you need. And eventually we'll just make our way to the second side because thankfully we have 2. So switching your legs, whatever leg is straight, just pull it back. I just want to pull it back into that hip socket, but then relax that toe. Even give that foot a little wiggle. I know in our yawn we really activate, but just let it go. We will use our core to sit tall, so you can rotate towards your bent knee, or you can add that forward fold and just make your way into the same journey you went on the other side on this side. And then allow your breath to guide you. And then just slow your breath down. And then notice what comes up on this side, the feelings, the emotions, the sensations. And where can you just soften and surrender a little deeper? What can you choose to let go of? And then just connecting again with that slower, deeper breath. And we'll take about 5 more breaths on this side. When your breath is complete, we'll come up, reconnecting with our core first. And you can also use your hands to support your body if that feels good. And then adding that posture of comfort, whatever feels good. You might need to lie down for a moment. We will start from seated from the next pose. You might just take a nice seat. And then after those breaths or 2, it might feel nice to add a twist. It might feel good to move your legs, to shake out your shoulders, to shake out your legs. And just breathe. And the next pose we set up for will be chicken leg. And so we can even set them up like a cow face arm. I'll just turn around so you can see. And so you can take whatever arm you want. One arm will be palm away, reaching up, and then you could take that other hand and reach it up, or you could have that hand supporting your head. And then from there, we'll lie down on our hands. So you might like that hand as a pillow, you might like it to get a little bit more opening. And then you could take your legs into tree, into butterfly, you can straighten them. If you might need a little bit of a pillow under your head if your shoulder blade is digging into the floor, or if it is, you might need a padding under that shoulder blade, like fold up a sweater or a blanket. And then we just breathe. If your hand that's on the lower hand is falling asleep, or it just doesn't feel right, you can lower it towards your low back to lessen the intensity. If you want more sensation, lift it higher. And then slow your breath down, and as you breathe, see if you can start to get into that 3-part breath. Fill your belly, your ribs, your chest. And then press that arrow, chest, ribs, belly. And then we create more space and opening through the front of our body with that breath. And just notice what you feel, this space, this opening, this releasing, this softening. And then with that beautiful breath, let's take about 5 more breaths here. When your breath is complete, we'll come out. The simplest is most likely to roll away from that lower hand and allow that hand to be removed from under your body, and then just allow that hand to settle into stillness for a breath or 2. And then after that breath or 2, you can add whatever movement. You might stretch it overhead to the side. And whenever you're ready, we'll go into the second side. And you might prefer to come back up to a seat to set it up, and you might just roll to your side and set it up. Whatever feels right for your body today. And then making your way to that second side on your own time when you feel ready. And then breathe. And honor the uniqueness between each side. Let go of any judgments or expectations and just meet your body with where it's at today. And then can you connect again with that full body breath? Feel your belly, your ribs, your chest expand. And then slowly press that air up and just sink a little deeper with every breath out. And then with that breath, let's take about 5 more breaths here. Whenever you feel complete with your breath, you'll come out. Take your time, there is no hurry. Once you release, take that posture of stillness for 2 or so breaths. And then once you are ready, add whatever movement your body desires so that you can feel yourself surrender into stillness. So you might have your knees in, you might add a little twist, you might go right into Shavasana. What does your body need to release into Shavasana today? Just tune into what you feel, the space you've created. And then starting to allow yourself to surrender into stillness, to let go of your breath and just release. Just feel yourself safe and held by the support of the earth below. Trust each step. Stay present for each step of your journey. We don't go from one place to another in a gigantic leap. We get there in increments. By going through each feeling, each belief, each experience, one step at a time. Sometimes when we pray for miracles, what we're really praying for is help in skipping steps, for shortcuts. The simple act of acceptance, of returning to each step of our path, can often bring us the miracles we need. Then we see the truth. The real miracle is one always available to each of us. It's the miracle of acceptance. We can go where we want to go, one step at a time. start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your head from side to side. Extend your arms overhead, stretch your body, deepen your breath. Bend your knees and gently roll to your side. Allow your arms to support your head and the earth to support your body. And press yourself up to a seated posture with your eyes closed and your hands together at your heart center. Take a deep breath. Stay present for each step of your journey. Trust each stage. Many things are possible for you if you accept that the fastest way is one step at a time. Smile. Namaste. Thank you all for coming. I hope you have a wonderful day and a great weekend. And if you have questions, please let me know.